Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 58. You really talk me. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host, and just cleaned up some dog poop. Host and Dungeon Master Michael Corley, and with me tonight, who fortunately has not had to clean up dog poop, is Izzy. Izzy, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Marezi Mugraw, who is lucky in life in one regard that she didn't have to smell that dog poop before Dad cleaned it
up. We've had extensive rains in the area, and one of my dogs was disinclined to go outside to use the bathroom, so fun. But fortunately, as far as we know, entirely poop-free in the household is James. James, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Hello there, people. My name is James. I'm playing Penton Chalice, a spell scale sorcerer. And what else is there to say? It's magical, it's wonderful, it's perfect.
It's the sugar-free. And also with us is Dare. Dare, tell everyone who you will be playing.
Hello, everyone. I'm playing Tix Birchmanson, the gnome cleric who is sniffing out a possible stinky Rakshasa.
Dog poop.
Rakshasa, which I am pronouncing perfectly every time.
Rakshasa.
Rakshasa.
I'm sure
I'm going to say it. Yes, I'm going to say it like Sean Connery. There's a Rakshasa in here. You'll rule the day you crushed me, Rakshasa. So we last left off, our wonderful group actually fought off an air elemental that went cuckoo for crazy birds and decided to try and attack Tix. It was defeated by you, and with Penton using a little interesting diplomacy, actually got the disguised Rakshasa Urtok to assist in the combat, and you also did get a brief assist from a halfling paladin who is not joining you right now, by the way. He came out of nowhere. You are now in the king's receiving room with a few servants, but much more importantly, the 5 Aarakocra and Urtok, the advisor to the king, along with Skull, the woman who is kind of with Penton at the moment a little bit. And with that, the king actually turns to her and he says, "I know you, don't I?" And she smiles and bows slightly and she says, "Well, I think you more know my father, my lord." And he goes, Yes, the famous jewel maker. Your father was known around the world. I assume you are in a similar capacity, are you not?" And she demurs and says that she tries. But he actually does know who she is, which, you know, for the king is actually a little surprising. He turns to you, Tix, and he says, "Are you, in fact, a holy man?"
I serve my lord Garl Glittergold faithfully.
We do not have enough of your ilk in my kingdom, I fear. I fear that my people often prefer the pleasures of the flesh, shall we say, and while I do not mind that myself, I would certainly strive for a more spiritual connection, so I am so glad that you are with us. Tell me, do you have any idea why that creature attacked you?
Not off the top of my head, my lord. There seems to be some interesting goings-on from the outside to the inside. And I pan my hand around the room. From the docks to here, that we, in this little group of ours, seem to have stumbled upon. But we will be faithful to you and to the kingdom to make sure that anything out there does not cause trouble to the good people here.
And you are glad that, well, let's be honest, in D&D, looks can kill, particularly if you're a hag, but the look that Urtok is giving you is just murderous, as he is just and he actually, you can see that he is slightly injured. He actually took 21 points of damage when the air elemental went smacking into him, which he did not say, but clearly blames you, Penton,
Of course,
for that damage.
My lord, would you like me to heal your so faithful Grand Vizier, who put his life on the line and faithfully and thankfully distracted the air elemental from attacking even myself.
That is so kind of you. I would absolutely love. And with that, Urtok interrupts and he goes, "Please, my lord, it is not necessary. I am fine, and I would want this holy man to be able to keep his healing abilities should they be needed in the near future."
Oh, are you sure? I'm sure that Garl Glittergold would want me to lay my hands in a blessing upon one such as yourself that stuck his neck out in the name of the king.
Okay, he actually rolled a 3 for keeping his composure, so he actually takes an involuntary step back, which further enrages him, as you can see from the subtext on the look on his face, and he is not happy. And with that, he says, "My king, I believe we were conversing with the Aarakocra, were we not?" And the king says, oh, yes, very good, very good. With that, the leader of the Aarakocra, Gale, begins to come forward, but as she does so, Beast, which is easily the largest of the Aarakocra, which is to say he's barely larger than you, Penton. They are very slender, slight people, obviously with the power of flight. He actually draws his sword and levels it at you, Merezi.
Hey, what did I do?
He takes his sword and he brings it up, and he is pointing it at your shoulder, where Aki is.
Ah, my creature. Yes. Her name is Aki.
I know what this creature is. These creatures are servants of the lizard men. Are you a spy?
Not willingly.
That is not an answer. Tell me, are you in league with the lizard men? And he takes a step forward, and Gale actually restrains him.
No.
She still doesn't look real happy, though. They are all now looking very intently at your lizard, who looks at them and goes, blip, and the tongue comes out once. Big bulging eyes look off in 2 different directions.
I found this lizard in a dungeon. I do not willingly serve the lizard men. I would want no harm to come to the eggs of your nests.
Actually, just give me a straight roll, just a straight roll, because I don't think you have any bonuses in this regard.
I'm glad you're not making me add my charisma modifier. I got a 10, which is pretty Merezi-ish.
Okay. Would anyone like to aid her?
I would.
I had a feeling you might.
I think what Merezi's trying to say is that this lizard, the creature on her shoulder, has absolutely nothing to do with any of these lizard people. We've never met. We've never been near them. It's just a lizard. It's not a tool of your enemy. I promise you. Let me roll a diplomacy on that. 15, 28's on that.
28. Yeah, well, so you definitely assist Merezi, and they seem to be somewhat mollified, and Beast sheaths his sword again. The king's tone is very light, but you all hear the implication behind it, and he says, "Thank you for returning your sword. If any of you draw your weapon in this chamber again, I will see that you never lift anything again. I will have my associate remove every feather on your body and bind you to the earth." And it is just cold beyond measurement. But on the other hand, he did draw a sword right in front of the king. Also not entirely out of character for a king to say something like that. And he actually turns to them and he says, or he turns to you, Pinton, and he says, "When you came here, you mentioned briefly looking for the Witch of the Lowlands."
Yes, and also trying to recover our princess.
Yes, and I told you to hold that thought, for lack of a better term, and because it may be somewhat related to my discussion with this Aarakocra good folk. Gale, would you tell this young gentleman about the rod? And all of them kind of ruffle their feathers at the mention of this rod, and they all turn to you, and Gale begins reciting something that sounds very, very rehearsed, like very known in their people. And she says, long ago, my people were at war with the Queen of Chaos and her wolf spider, Miska. A great warrior fought against them, and a rod was fashioned by the Wind Dukes. And when the rod was plunged into the chest of the Queen of Chaos, it defeated her, but it also split the rod into 7 parts and sent it flying through all the realms of existence. My people keep to themselves. Many of them do not even venture out of the plane of air. But when we do, it is often that we seek the rod of 7 parts.
We've
Now-
never heard of a broken up rod, have we?
I am not saying that the rod of Seraphim is the same rod. However, we also sought out the Witch of the Lowlands because of her knowledge of such things, to seek counsel and to help us look for them.
I see.
And she has actually pointed us in the right direction of what we believe is one of the missing pieces of the rod of 7 parts. And we actually know where the Witch of the Lowland was last seen.
Aha.
She was last seen in the Pinta Plains. There is an abandoned, I do not even know the correct term, castle, stronghold, dungeon, a strange place that my people do not go near. It has a foul air about it. It is very, very old. And it was said, we know for a fact, that the Witch of the Lowlands was known to be there. And we would give you directions to this place and aid you in making your way there.
And I imagine there'd be something you'd want to return?
Yes, there is. Should you, in your journey, come across any information about the rod of the 7 parts, that you would bring them to my people, and you would be greatly honored by us. Of course, if you are actually able to recover it, that would be an even greater boon. And all of the Aarakocra in all of the planes of existence would honor you.
Well, consider it that a deal.
And she bows to you very slightly. And the king goes, wonderful, wonderful. I thought this might work out nicely. There is one other thing. It seems that an evil has entered our land. We have reports of zombies that are, he kind of makes a face, squishy, that have been reported in my kingdom. Have you seen any such thing in your travel?
Why, yes, my lord. And I fish one of the tokens out of my backpack.
Very nice. Very nice.
And
Kudos.
roll it across my fingers and show it to him and to the Grand Vizier. Somebody is using these tokens to enchant bodies, and we have run into many that have been affected in this way.
It happens quickly, and I'm assuming from a great distance, because they've been popping up all over the place, and either whoever's doing it is following us, or they're doing it from a ways away.
And so
This is most worrisome.
I worry, my lord, that if something has sprung up, that it might be something outside our normal understanding, and it might have infected even your court if we can't track it down. It seems to have an inside knowledge of the goings-on of the kingdom and everything that's around. Only something from outside would seem to have that effect. And I wonder if you would give us leave to deal with something like that, even if it was inside your court.
So the king looks at you, and he looks at you, and then he starts to laugh. He's like, oh my goodness, that was some tremendous wordplay. And he turns and he says, Urtok, show them. And Urtok oh my goodness, the look on his face. It just could curdle milk. And with just a slight gesture, he reveals his true form. He reveals that he is an outsider. And by the way, the Aarakocra are horrified, and they all, even though they were told not to, draw their weapons as he does. And he says, I am so impressed. And he looks at you, Tix, because you were the one doing the wordplay. How did you know he was a Rakshasa?
Some cats are not quite as stealthy as they would like to think.
Oh, did you hear that, Urtak? He got you good. And with that, he gestures, and you notice that around Urtak's neck is a glittering jeweled necklace. But as you look at it more, it kind of shimmers a little bit, and you realize it is actually a collar. And with that, he takes his hand and he grabs as if he's grabbing something, and then he jerks it down. And with that, Urtak just drops to all fours and just snarls in pain. And he says, I so appreciate that you are looking out for my best interest, and that you were willing to take on Urtak, who is a dangerous foe. But I assure you, this little kitty is under my control. Isn't that right, Urtak? And Urtak looks up at him, and it just there are no number of deaths that he clearly wishes upon the king, and he says, I protect the king. And he turns back and he just, claps at you, Tix, and he goes, you are the first person to discover what he truly is. I am just so impressed. His illusions are impeccable, but you figured it out. All of you, I'm assuming. And he looks to you, Merezi, and you had no idea.
I'm very confused. Where did Urtak go?
Very good role playing, and the king also chuckles, and he says, I would be deeply appreciative, all of you, if you would go and see if you can find the Witch of the Lowlands. If you would go and see if you could find out what's going on with this matter and report back to me. I would deeply appreciate it. I will arrange an enchantment so that you will be able to have limited communicative abilities with my court. And perhaps you could let me know what's going on?
We'd be happy to share any information we have about this nastiness that's been going on lately.
We live to but serve and protect the kingdom.
I could not put it better myself. You have all comported yourself greatly. Let me make sure I understand. It is yourself, it is Penton, is it not?
That's correct, my liege.
You are, in fact, the first spell scale I have ever met.
Oh, well, there's many of us. There's not a lot of them are out in the open, shall we say.
I have heard that sometimes there can be issues. And he actually turns to Osokai and he goes, and you, I believe, are a shifter, are you not? And, Osokai is, of course, very gregarious and
grunts.
grunts. And he says, and of course, you, great warrior, Morezi, who found out what is going on with Urtak. By the way, this whole time, Urtak is still on all four. He has not been released from whatever is holding him down, and he is just beginning fuming more and more and more. And he says to you, Morezi, for discovering this dark plot against me.
I mean, doesn't seem to be against you.
Yes, you figured it out. And of course, you good sir, Tix, who not only dealt the crushing blow to this elemental, but came to my defense at what surely would have been a great danger. Someday I shall have to tell all of you the story of Urtak's capture, and I want you to know that it was at great price.
I imagine that's a very interesting story.
Would love to hear that, my lord.
So, what I want you all to do is to take this script, and he hands each of you a script from the king. It is essentially a put it on my tab kind of thing, and he goes, I want you to gather the supplies that you need for your journey, and I would like you to make way in the morning to the Pinta Plains to see if you can find the Witch of the Lowlands, which I believe is what you wanted in the first place, is it not?
Yes,
That's
my lord.
correct.
Yes.
And also, if you can in any way assist my new allies, the Arakokra, then please do so. And of course, do watch out for the lizard men who do have quite the taste for other sentient beings.
Well advised, sir.
Yes, we will be aware.
Well, with that, I bid you all adieu, good evening, and please do not fail. And with that, he jerks upwards with the invisible thread, and Urtok jerks upwards as well and stands next to him, makes a gesture, and becomes the nondescript noble once again. You realize, by the way, as they're standing next to each other, that Urtok and the king have the same eyes when he was in full kitty cat form.
Was beginning to notice.
Yeah. Cat man with cat eyes.
But you are all dismissed. Is there any particular supplies that y'all would like to gather before heading out on your journey?
Oh, I intend to go find a very powerful magical axe and possibly some magical armor.
Okay. So basically, I want you to know that the script covers all basic supplies. And possibly would give you a discount on magical items, but you would still need to purchase magical items. This is meant for more like food and oil and rope and other related items for a long journey for the king.
Okay, I want to get some. I like the idea of rope. I'm gonna get some rope, maybe some whatever trap making supplies there might be. I might get some extra snacks. And also, I'd just like to declare this because I feel like it's very important that everyone hears that if these lizard men are recognizable through Aki, that means that they also take on the form of an Argentine tegu with massive jowls. You've just created a race of massive jowl men.
Unfortunately, the lizard men are not that adorable. The Arakokra who accused said that he literally said he was a spy. So you don't know if he meant specifically the breed of lizard that Aki is used as spies for the lizard men, or if they just meant all lizards are potential spies of the lizard men.
Yeah. Hashtag not all lizards.
Exactly.
With that,
exactly. You don't.
Protect my interests crap from a while back, I wouldn't be surprised if he's like recognizable or something.
Well, yes, there's clearly something else going on with Aki, and Morezi is very unhappy with all of this magic mumbo jumbo that keeps popping up in regards to a giant lizard that keeps appearing in your visions.
Morezi just doesn't get magic.
She's like, I don't get you. She just walks up to Penton often and she goes, I don't get you.
Yeah.
What's your deal? Like, what's the deal with that?
No, that's exactly.
This does also include, by the way, like normal weapons. So if there's, like if you need to refresh your arrows, or if you would like another bola, Morezi, things like that would certainly be covered with this script.
Okay, I'm getting another knife. I don't remember if I ever threw away my knife, but is this stuff money? Do I have to pay for this?
You do not have to pay for this.
I am increasing my amount of knives to 2 total knives, and increasing my amount of bolas to 4 total bolas, if applicable.
Gotcha. You had lost one bola went plunk into the water when you tried to throw it at Punchy McBeardface. The other one simply landed on the ground and you were able to recover it. So yes, so you now have 4 bolas total, and you have 2 knives, and of course your halberd is still trustily with you. Are there any other supplies that y'all would like to pick up?
I'm going to look for restock my rations and my bolts, and I am going to go see if I can find magical battle axe to carry into and protect me for when I run out of spells.
As you are doing this, you get a brief pulse, as it were. And you feel that sword from before. And this is, by the way, you, of course, are very familiar with magic and holy things and all of that sort of thing. So this is not a command. This is not a attack or anything like that. But it's when it seems to somehow sense that you're thinking about a magical weapon, and it basically says, "Why not me?"
Because Garl Glittergold wants me to use an axe.
And it says, "Huh," which is an odd thing for a sword to say. I'm going to imagine that you are kind of like going through your equipment in the chicken hut, and you look up again, and the sword has become an axe.
Whoa.
It has become an axe that is appropriately sized for a gnome.
I think I have a new best friend.
It will require attunement on your part. I do not make a big deal out of attunement, by the way. I just don't care about it that much. But for something like a sentient sword, there will be an amount of time that you have to spend with it in order to unlock its full powers. So currently, it is simply a +1 battle axe. Or no, I'm sorry, not war axe.
Yeah.
You can use it one-handed. I do mean that it did change to be appropriate size for you, so you can still use a shield. I can't remember. Do you use a shield?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
I don't know why.
Yes, I do.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
I thought you did.
Yes.
Yes. So it is. It fashioned itself in a sense that is similar to the axe that you currently have. And you take hold of it, and you feel a whoop of power. As I said before, it gives off an aura of neutrality,
Right.
so you are able to wield it, even though you are good aligned. You are able to use this object of neutrality.
Yes, I am neutral good, so...
Well, even more so.
Yes, so I say hello to Destiny Seeker as my new companion.
And it says to you, "I hope that you will find me adequate in the dispensement of justice."
I think we're going to get along just fine.
Did you just get a talking sword?
Well, it was when you were not there. It was one of the spoils. Or no, I'm sorry, you were there. This was one of the spoils from when y'all fought the Dark Elves underneath the ground. The evil paladin actually had this sword.
Oh, that's right.
And when Tix ran up and reduced her to dust, this was one of the things that were made.
Yes. And so I hang my old axe there in the chicken hut and secure Destiny Seeker to my back on the clip that I have there for my where my axe should hang, and feel quite confident that I'm now more prepared than ever to do justice.
I'm going to say that all of you are gathering together and you are kind of getting ready to leave. And of course, I'm assuming y'all are planning on traveling via Chicken Hut.
Always.
Of course.
Yes, it would be much, much easier.
Right.
And the Aarakocra, by the way, are not going to stay with you. They much prefer to fly. However, they will guide you. They'll essentially keep an eye on you and guide you to the area. At least one or two of them will. But before y'all can leave, do you remember that there was a halfling paladin?
Yes.
He actually comes to the chicken hut. He knocks on the front door, tuk, 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 and says, unlike Tix, he does have a slightly high-pitched voice. He goes, "Hello there!"
Hello.
What can we help you with?
I,
Oh, and then thank you for helping us, by the way.
Oh, you're so welcome. I was actually... there was supposed to be a moment where I brought out one of these... what's everyone calling them? The squishy zombie?
Yes.
You know, I was going to bring one out and present it to the court so they could see the true dangers. I had captured one in my travels.
Oh.
Captured one.
Yes. I was. It obviously. Normally, I smite these creatures for the good of my god. The truth is. And I do apologize. I am Geggle. My name is Geggle Brickmerger.
Geggle Brick.
It is a pleasure, merger of bricks.
Pleasure to meet you as well. Fine warrior. I saw the strike that you blew. The blow that you struck against that air elemental. It was most impressive.
Yes. Thank you very kindly.
So I came here not to alarm you in any way, but to ask you one very small thing. If you could be of assistance to me, because there is a vile monster aboard the good ship Pisswhistle. And that's where we'll end! Chafing Armor, number 58. Not even letting y'all poor guys get out of here.
Oh my goodness.
Before something else. One more side quest before I let you leave Massgate.
I'm gonna
Duncan
burn.
just has
I'm
the
gonna burn
worst
that
luck.
ship down.
Oh man.
I'm gonna burn it down when we're done with this.
much easier that way. So we'll have at least one more adventure in Massgate, but I especially wanted Lee to be able to take part in this next adventure, so I wanted to cut off here so that he can take part, because some of these directly relate to some things that have been going on with him. But we've got a magic axe in play. We've got lots of bolas floating around, and we've got a quest for the Witch of the Lowlands. Got all kinds of things going on, and all of those we will come back to in episode 59. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
night.
kids.
Good night,
We're
Gracie.
so
All right.
Thanks
sleepy
for
at the
listening.
end of the
Yes, by the end. Great job, everyone. Good role-playing, good fighting, and we will roll with you soon.